Right, welcome ladies and gents. Now, let's be purely unbiased about this and objective. I, personally, really like Andor, but holy crap they spent a lot of money on this. Way more than they should have, and I say should have because not many people like it. Look, that's being objective. I love it. I think it's great. But goodness me, not many people do. So, the budget is insane. It's staggeringly, it's movie level. It's top tentpole blockbuster movie level. So I guess the angle of this video is realistically this is another Lucasfilm disaster, because it is. Because the ratings for this, the viewership, is not great. And as much as I personally love this film, I say film, I keep going back to film because it costs so much money. As I personally love this series, it doesn't matter. It's still not great for Disney and Lucasfilm to have spent this much money on this project. It's insane, ladies and gents. So we'll dive into this today. Please do hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notification on and give the video a like and a share. So, Andor's budget has been revealed. And not only did it cost way more than every other Star Wars TV series, it cost more than some films being made. More than some films. Wow. So currently this is actually filming, by the way. It's currently filming Andor Season 2. Now, Tony Gilroy, part of the WGA, he's not able to sort of work on this in like a major capacity. I don't even think, as far as I'm aware from previous statements, he's even there on a day-to-day basis, which I think will make it suffer. Personally, and obviously I say suffer from a perspective of someone that liked the series. I know people will say, I can't suffer more than it did. Yeah, I get it. I'm just coming from a perspective of someone that liked it. But he had an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, and he revealed some very interesting snippets of information. So apparently after playing around with various genres during the first 12 episodes, it sounds like Season 2's overall feel will differ significantly when the show returns in 2024. That's such a long gap as well. I'm so surprised that they are gapping it so big. Now they say this, he says this, it's not as clearly delineated in terms of genres, but it's more clearly delineated in that each block of 3 episodes, so that's the interesting thing about this, is it's blocks of 3. And he says that they will be separated by a year-long gap. So each block of 3 will have a year gap between them. I think that is actually a very, very interesting storytelling. But he also said, so they're really standalone, those blocks of 3, they're like miniature movies, I guess. And that's probably the best way of looking at them, as miniature films. And you know what? They could even do that with the runtime. If they were to bump it up, they could literally have miniature movies. And in many cases take place over 1, 2 or 3 days, and then boom, a year-long gap between them. How interesting is that? You're going to see such a whirlwind of time pass in the Star Wars universe, like just blinking basically, and everything's changed. I don't know whether, I think the writing on Andor's been great, so I trust that they will know what they're doing, but it does leave itself open to something anyway that could potentially go wrong. Side note, anyone check out this Star Wars Outlaws trailer? Looked interesting. Did look interesting, quite similar to other stuff though. But yeah, anyone, just a little side quest comment. Anyone else check that out? So apparently the trade goes on to reveal that with a $250 million budget, ladies and gents, $250 million. Yeah, that's what you came here for. They spent 250... Look, I like it, but Christ alive. Not many other people do. So this is a disaster. This is an epic disaster for Disney and Lucasfilm. $250 million. Wow. Now, from what I can tell, that is Andor Season 1 and Season 2. So they're doing a lot with that money, but jeez. The interesting thing is, it is the most expensive Star Wars TV show ever made. Because The Mandalorian's first season, which was arguably a very good season, you know, disregard the latest stuff, only cost $100 million. $250 million. Now they say this, we're guessing the decision to shoot practical locations was a big part of that, especially as Andor doesn't exactly feature much in the way of splashy space battles and lightsaber duels, which in large part is what makes it so great. This is the article, but I mean, what? Yeah, where are you spending $250 million? That's on set building. It has to be, because they built whole towns and set pieces. You know, but they did for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, and this beat out, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi as the most expensive Star Wars TV show ever made. That's what The Little Mermaid cost. Not a great example, because that looks like shit, but you get my point, right? $250 million is insane. And I think it's all down to the practical set locations that they were building. And they used predominantly, this will be the other thing, they used predominantly UK film crews. I think that'll also be a large part of it. They did get some tax rebates from this, though. Quite large tax rebates, by the way. But they did use predominantly UK-based film crews. You know, whether that's set builders or whatever. It was predominantly UK-based. And I think that will be a part of why it's so expensive. Now, this is the other thing. So, Gilroy, to this end, said, we got lucky making this during the gold rush a few years ago. A lot of people now have cold feet and you can't do this show inexpensively. Now, that's referencing the streaming gold rush. We need everything on streaming. He's referencing that. But he is right. No one wants to take any levels of risks anymore. And hearing that budget, this is a risk. I'm genuinely surprised Disney and Lucasfilm gave the green light to this. I really am surprised. And again, that's coming from someone that really likes it. But, goodness me. And he went on to conclude, I'm just so relieved at the reaction. Because we were making this huge, obscure thing and we knew it was crazy. Like, is this too much? Have we gone too far? There were no focus groups or test audiences. Now it will be good if we can stick the landing and go out strong. They didn't even do focus groups or test audiences. Wow. I bet Lucasfilm was wishing they did now. Because again, I love it. Not many people do. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. $250 million on Andor is crazy expensive. It is staggeringly high. So what do you think? Disaster or a risk that paid off? Let me know down below. Again, like I said at the start, hit subscribe if you're new here. Cheers, guys. Take care.